Everybody who's here and who has knocked on some doors or made some phone calls for this election, whether you're sharing stuff on social media or talking to your neighbors or registering somebody to vote, we can all play a part in our electoral process. And boy, did we have a great team here in Indiana County this year. Our field organizer, Sam Bigham, sends his regards from the Harris campaign. He, as many of you know, used to be the IUP College Democrats president. He said he wished he could be here, but he also he wants to thank everybody who made thousands and thousands of door knocks here in Indiana County. And the proof is in the results, which I'll get to, which is great. So this is my 20th anniversary of organizing here in Indiana County, having moved back to Indiana from Pittsburgh in 2004. And I'll have two things to say. One is this is the most organized I've ever seen the IUP College Democrats in 20 years. And that's thanks to Andy Luth, the co-president, who's not here, and all of that campus team. And if you look at the results, 62% of the two college campuses voted for Kamala Harris. 62%. What's also phenomenal about that is that how many of you heard in the media about how young people might not be into it this year, especially with the Israel-Palestine thing? I think most of us have heard the stories about that. Well, 8 years ago, Hillary Clinton also got 62% in the campus vote in Indiana. So we lost nobody in terms of percentage. So that's not without effort, though. I walked through campus a couple times. There were flyers everywhere. There were sidewalk trucks everywhere. I led a team here from the UU Church with the League of Women Voters and other groups and NAACP. We registered 183 people to vote. How many? You probably 500. You registered the college members or more? Yep. Boy was that great. Another highlight is that we not only won Indiana Borough for Kamala Harris, we won every single ward in Indiana Borough. That's an increase from 4 years ago because Trump won parts of the borough. This time he didn't. And so that really goes to show you knocking on doors and making phone calls works. I saw one projected person on social media, and many of us may think that ourselves if we get into this mentality, oh, maybe all this work is for naught. Well, that's just not true. Pennsylvania came down to what, 2 percentage points, and we certainly pulled more than 2 percentage points out of Indiana County. So we did our job here in the team. What was also great about this year is the way that we all work together. I don't always see that in every election cycle. Sometimes you have, some turf battles or people not getting along. Here, we have with the Indiana County Democratic Committee, our volunteers, the nonpartisan work, the churches, the local groups, up to the national. We all seem to work together great. And you didn't here in Indiana County. You didn't get that everywhere, but I think you sure got it here. And with the system that Lynn put together, which is the most organized that I've ever seen the Indiana County Democratic Committee on election day, that really brought out the voters. The number of calls that I saw on election day coming from the precincts with those tear sheets, and that was new to a lot of people. That's really what helped to stem the tide here in Indiana. So we had a pretty good system in that everybody walking into headquarters that we could have them sign in. Hank typed that up. It got into a database. We started emailing them, and that brought more people into headquarters to get yard signs or to help out. What I did, my effort was focused on phone banks. So what we did is we focused on Indiana Borough, the campus community. We focused on first-time registered voters. We called everybody in the county at least once that was a newly registered Democrat, and many of those we saw didn't know where to vote. I mean, it wasn't election day yet, but that was new information. They didn't know where to vote, so that was helpful. We talked to people as early as, especially, and then close to elections, we called through everybody on campus. And even 2 days, 3 days before election day, they weren't quite sure that they were going to vote at Zink Hall. So these calls matter. And we were able to get dozens of volunteers, and we shifted those over to the national campaign, to the Biden-Harris campaign. So that was a nice effort to say, okay, we got these, call these people, Sam, and go to town. And so the way that we were able to coordinate was just magical this year. I've never seen it, which was great. So shout out to the Sunday evening call team, as I like to call them. So together, just in the call team, now this is just in the vote builder, we've had more calls than this, but everything in the system from a computer call, excluding Sam's, because that's a different daily, we made 3,819 calls. Wow. I give a special shout out to our top 10 callers, some of whom are in the room. Running down from the top to the bottom is Wilford Balk-Smith. He's not here, but boy, how many people know Wilford? I'm curious. I'll tell them, just a few. But he's been involved since 2008, and boy, is he great. So we had Wilford, Allie Jacobs, Gavin Felter, Mary Beth Jowers was calling in from New York. That's Anna Goldman's daughter. Linda Jane Briggs, Dolores Brzezicki, Jonathan Smith, Ian Kondo, and Anna Goldman and Martha Buckland. Those were our top 10 callers. And an honorable mention, just because she's number 11, is Commissioner Hess. So I'll have some handouts here. So if you want to, that's our call team this year, which was great. I also have some numbers broken out by municipality and ward. So how many people are committee people, official precinct committee people? Okay, good. So some of this might be interesting to you to see how your own precincts work. So what I have broken down is I mentioned we run Indiana decisively, which was great. Overall, these are all the precincts in the 62nd district, the 62nd Pennsylvania House District. So that's Indiana, White, Armstrong, Cherry Hill, Homer City Center, White Township, Washington, Wheatfield. And so I'll send these around. One outlier was interesting with Chillicothe, where they had 38 Trump voters and only 2 Kamala Harris voters. That surprised me. But
Eric?
Yeah.
There are 6 registered Democrats in Chillicothe.
And only 2 of them voted for. And somebody can fact check on me, but Gavin, give a hand to Gavin who typed all this stuff up. Assuming that's probably right. I was running a Pennsylvania House campaign in 2014, and we had six targeted voters to turn out in Chillicothe, and we called it the shock and awe in Chillicothe. So that was pretty good. This is the same sheet, so feel free to, if you're curious about your own precinct, and I do have the whole county here too.
Yes, we can go back and forth.
Eric, I would just like to know, in the whole county, what was the count for Trump and for Harris?
And the question was, if you didn't hear it in the back, in the whole county, what was the count for Trump and Harris? And I do have this here. There are 69 precincts in the county. There's 51,744 registered voters. Out of that, 82% turned out to vote, which is incredibly high on both sides of the ticket. That's like unbelievably high. Probably the highest ever. I don't know. So the counts for President of the United States, Donald Trump from Indiana County got 29,203, and Kamala Harris got 12,685.
That's better than around.
It's better than some places. It's better than some neighboring counties. So this is the county-wide results. If you're kind of interested, feel free to pass that along. Yeah, I should have told you that. Well, that's kind of fun. Here's some campus results if you're interested in campus compared to the last few years. And if you're interested, I'll send this one. This folder, you can, if you're a precinct committee people, feel free to take your own precinct. But these are all the results from all the precincts in Indiana County, all 69. So it's alphabetical by precinct. It's hard to see it because I want to save some paper to 2 pages on one page, but feel free to take a look at that. So we had a great crew here, good, very awesome, very great effort from everybody involved. And I'm going to lead into what's next. So I have some handouts about what we can all be doing next before I hand it over back to Lynn here. There's a few things we can do to help protect democracy, and that's getting out information on social media that's trustworthy and true. And this is some information on how to do that. If you have a partner together or not interested, just pass them down. But these were left over. These are from the League of Women Voters, and that's how we can combat the misinformation and disinformation that's online. Also, one of the things we were handing out on campus were bookmarks, and these are kind of neat. And all of this stuff comes together from the phone calls, from the posters. We had commit to vote cards where we're having students promise they were going to vote on election day, which was pretty nice. And then the last thing I'll do before I hand it over is give a shout out for an upcoming event. It's the NAACP Freedom Fund Banquet. So it's going to be at this coming Saturday at the Indiana County Country Club. And I have flyers. And then the Center for Community Growth is having its annual meeting coming up too this coming Thursday. So
You're very gifted.
I think that's all I got. Any questions? All right. Back to you, Lynn.